So regarding the raising a child that knows the difference between being impulsive, being rude, being responsible, and who knows his boundaries and who knows his limits, starts very early in childhood. First of all, we have to know the personality of our children. We have to know what he is good at, what his limits are, what his traits are, and to implement these values early in childhood. It starts here. Understand him well, communicate with him well, emotionally validate him, because this ground is the solid ground where in early adolescence or early teenager years, he's going to listen to you by then. Is going to know if you told him that's right and that's wrong, he is going to listen, because this to him is his parent, of course, and his friend as well, who knows him well, who validates him, who know his personality, who know what he likes and everything like that. So it starts very early in childhood. Teaching our children the value of freedom has to be accompanied by the value of being responsible. Something in our brain which is called, it's an area in our brain which is called the prefrontal cortex. This area is responsible about very important things that we do, like planning, like taking decisions. And when someone takes a decision, he has to think about the pros and cons of every decision, what I'm to weigh, what I'm going to have and what I'm going to lose when taking this decision, and accordingly start acting. And one of the very crucial parts, functions of this prefrontal cortex is the impulsivity, controlling our actions. When I say this and when it is rude to say that and everything like this. It's very important to know that this area is not well developed in adolescents or in teenagers. And here comes one of the very big problems, because we as parents assume that this is common sense. How did you do that? This is common sense. How didn't do that? This is common sense. No, for us it's common sense. For him or for her, it's not common sense. So each family has to put the rules and communicate well with their children and negotiate well, because teenagers will not listen to you if you just tell them you have to do this and you have to do that. Very different disorders that affects the behavior of a child and the teenager. We have a lot of diagnoses for this, like having ADHD, attention deficit hyperactive disorder, where the child acts very impulsively and is really hyperactive, and he doesn't listen to the rules. He cannot focus, and he is not even listening to the instructions. He is not even listening to you. He doesn't know the consequences of his action. He just acts before thinking. He just hits the other child and then think, what did I do? He doesn't know the consequences. He doesn't think about the consequences. Very hard to deal with at school, at university, later on when he's an adult, at home, everything like that. The social factors as well. Is he having any psychiatric or psychological symptoms like being anxious, being depressed? Did he face any hard life situation before? All of this impacts the behavior of the child and the teenager. That's why we need to exclude this first. We need to exclude him having any psychiatric disorders, any depression, any anxiety, any abuse. And this is a very important part that we face every day at our clinics. We deal with patients who were children and teenagers facing different kind of abuse. Bullying, verbal abuse, physical abuse, even sexual abuse. And this definitely impacts their behavior later on. This definitely can lead to aggressive behavior. This definitely lead to being impulsive and being rude. Okay, so not all the children or the teenagers that are rude or we perceive as being rude or impulsive or inconsiderate are definitely. This is this is not an excuse, I know, but some of them really suffer. Some of them really struggle. There is a reason under this behavior.
They always tend to be aggressive because they don't know a mean or a tool to express themselves in the best form that we need them always to do. First thing, the common thing that we always have to say to our kids, that we need to have a common ground of understanding, a common ground of accepting that they have their own identity without trying to make them a copy of us. This would never happen except when we think highly of them. We need always to give them the self-confidence that they can do better, they can express themselves in a way that we accept, and we try to manage how they express themselves. We try always to show them how much that the safe zone of the family is the real safe zone. We always make them feel that the parents are the best people to listen to them, because they always think, and they always stress on the word think, because the parents, they love their kids, they want them the best thing, but they always think that their parents do not understand them, they don't have a common ground with them, they are old enough not to understand the updated version of their kids and so on. But this is not true, because parents, they are the best people who can understand their kids. Parents are advised always to build the self-confidence of their kids through activities that help them to develop their own identity. You need always to know what you think of, what you really need, what you want, to try to focus on the correct path that they need to lead to fulfill all their needs and to have their own identity. Communication with the parents allows children to be more confident, because we open for them the channel and the safe zone to say what they feel, how they feel it. We allow them to communicate, and we give them a role model in patience, listening, so that they can be patient to listen to our advice, so that they can be good listeners in the future, so that they can do that to their friends, to their kids later on. And we also tame ourselves from being strict parents, trying to impose our opinion on our kids, and just listening to them to make them feel confident more. We always choose for them best education, best places to go, best sports to play, best thing to practice. But we need to give them our most valuable thing, which is time and listening, because through listening we're building up their personality to be in a safe, normal environment, which will help them to be so much confident that they can say whatever they want in a very normal, polite, decent way that we always long for our kids to be.